Hello everyone, I'm Wendell Jones and welcome to this special edition of our program, The Platform. And on this program today we are celebrating a special Bahamian who has been doing a wonderful job in ministry in our country over the last 45 years. You would have heard of Golden Gate Assembly, and BishRossDavis has been the pastor of that church for the last 45 years, indeed, the founder of the church. And he is, as I said, played a vital role in ministry in the Bahamas, in evangelism for all of those years and even more. And he is joining us on our program today. Bishop Davis, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us.
And he is joined by his lovely wife, who is celebrating 51 years of marital bliss. You look about 50.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you here today.
Thank you.
I've known your wife for many years. You used to be a banker, right?
Yes, Scotiabank.
Scotiabank. And you have kept this bishop looking young too.
Thank you.
So Bishop Davis, I remarked before the program began that I remember you way back from VZ Street time.
That's right.
Give us a little history on how you got involved in ministry and then how you started Golden Gate Assembly.
From Mangrove Key, that's my roots. In the Baptist Church, St. James Baptist. My father was a pastor. And of course, that was where my root was in. That's my root. We came to Nassau. Well, I came to Nassau, and I went to Zion. Zion was a little big for me, coming from a smaller church, and so I talked with Reverend Sands, and he encouraged me to hang around. But I had met Charles Moxey in Mangrove Key, and he invited me to Evangelistic Center. Evangelistic Center was the right size. And so I stayed there. And that's where it started with my involvement in churches in Nassau. Yeah, Evangelistic Center. And they were kind to me. They were saying the things I like to hear. You know, that Pastor Sands was a fiery preacher. And I loved that. And so God helped us. And that's why I met out there. Yes.
At Evangelistic Center.
At Evangelistic Center. She'd come out of
St. Agnes.
St. Agnes.
You were Anglican.
Yes.
Okay, and you started as Baptist. A Baptist met an Anglican in Evangelistic Center.
Yes, yes.
But what I really found out that the names that you put on these church they have a little meaning, so to speak, because they all believe the same thing. One God, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. One Bible, you know. You sin and you die, you go to hell if you don't know Jesus. They were all saying the same thing, you see. So I had no difficulty moving from the Baptist to the Assembly. And she had no difficulty moving from St. Agnes to the Assembly either.
But when you went to the Assembly, were you then a minister?
No.
Okay.
No. When I went to the Assemblies of God, I was just a youth worker. I was only 17. Just left Andros, and I came up to Nassau, of course, to finish my education, and so I had to get in church because church was my life. I never been to a club, never smoked a cigarette, never drank a beer. So all I knew was church. So I had to get my high in church.
I see.
Yeah, so church was my life.
And you started as a custom officer, didn't you?
Yeah. My first job was a customs officer.
Okay.
And then I got married, and then I went to school, went to university in Minnesota to do my theological training. And
so you always knew that you wanted to be a church leader?
I always knew that God wanted me in the ministry. Being a pastor, I didn't know whether that one came on. I just wanted to win souls, so to speak. And when I went to school, and my training helped me to understand that, you know, the field is yours. So when I came back, before I came back, they offered me the church at Golden Gates.
And when you went to university, you took with you your wife?
Yeah, she and my oldest son, they went with me. And that was the best thing that happened, one of the best things that could happen, because she helped me, she worked me through school. While I went to school, she went to work. And when I got off work, when I got out of school, then I went to work, and she went to take care of the baby.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, Mrs. Davis, tell us why you chose to marry this Andrus man.
Fell in love.
You fell in love.
Yes.
That's a good answer.
Yes,
You just fell in love.
And he's a good man.
Yes.
He's a good man.
And she was beautiful too.
He has
And-
been a
and-
wonderful husband for 51 years. And I still love him as I always did.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I went after her though.
Okay. How many kids do you have?
We have 3 biological children and we adopted 2.
Very good. And some of them are in ministry, aren't they?
Yes, our second son is in ministry. And of course our daughter, Dynamite Daisy, she's in ministry also.
Dynamite Daisy, well,
Yes.
we know extremely well.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I would like to thank all of our children in ministry, because our oldest son, Stan, who's a police officer, he is not as upfront, but he loves the church and he loves God with all his heart.
They all love God.
Yeah, and
But
so
I mean, they don't all preach, is
yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah. But Adrian, you can't get further in ministry than Adrian, and Dolores the same
Same thing.
They
are all in the church.
Yes.
All very involved
Very
in church.
involved, yeah.
Now, tell us, how did you, you went to Carmichael Road when it was not as bristling. It wasn't no city. It was
Yes,
just,
right.
just developing, eh?
Well, when we came back,
There
they
was
had
work going on.
yeah, they had a building
small
going.
church.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was about 5 adults there, along with some children, and we were asked to work with those, and we were so happy to do it. Our first opportunity to work with people was in the school, of course. So I was a teacher in the school, and I invited the kids to come by, and they came, and so the first set of people we had in the church was actually children from the school.
So coming back from Minnesota, you became a teacher.
I was
Yes.
a teacher, right?
Okay, with the government schools.
That's right.
And so you invited your students.
The students, and they came.
Okay.
They were from the area, and so they came, and then later on I became a guidance counselor. Now, it happened to have been the time when drug was rampant, and so many families were hit by that scourge, and so my knowledge of counseling and counseling helped, and so the parents was happy that I could help their children in this regard. So that served as a help for us too.
They actually sent him off to Miami
Yeah.
to do a drug course.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. So as Carlos,
the
sorry.
government did.
Yeah, Dr. Carlos Reed, involved in drugs and stuff like that. Well, I was dead long ago, and so that is how we began, working with the children, you see, and afterward, then we started working with more matured children, and we went from there.
45 years as a pastor of a church is a long time. There are few pastors in this country who can say that they've led a church for 45 years.
Well, you won't believe it. We had about 15 churches out of Golden Gates.
Yes,
They were not breakaways.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, and so our joy was to see them get their congregation going and keep moving. So it was like we were having babies every other year at these new churches, you see. And so that helped us with our goal, because that's what we were wanting to do. We wanted to start new churches, and we kept starting new churches, keep starting new churches, and that helped us, you see. So it was not working with the same group of people, because every time a group went, there were others who came in, So they were growing and we were growing, You see?
And you enable them.
Yeah, that was the
We
that
help
was the
them.
yeah. It was not like they would break away and went. No,
It's
we
not
helped
like
them.
they do in some other denomination. Where they claim they multiply by dividing.
Right.
You were helping people along to start
we
various
send them
ministries.
out.
Yeah,
You send them out.
Yeah, and that is still my. Before I close my eyes, I still want to see that happen again. I want to see us enable some more young people to go and get some more, and I think that's a good way to multiply the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've always had a growing ministry there at the assemblies on Carmichael Road, and I remember the little church, and now you have taken over. It seems as though you have a block.
Yes. And even that's not big enough.
It's not big enough.
No, on a Sunday morning, there's hardly any space to go.
Is that right?
Yeah. Sunday school, is upstairs, and you got the youth, and then you got this group and the other group. Yeah. So on a Sunday morning, the teachers are complaining, and they can't find this and they can't find that. So that's the way it is.
But you don't intend to
I would
expand.
love to. I would love to dream in those areas, and we would love to leave an auditorium with 5,000 people, and let whoever, Pastor Trent or whoever is the next pastor, just go with it, because, take for instance, we'll have our celebration this Sunday coming. There's nowhere for the people, They'll come, and when the church gets full, some of them will gladly slip back out and stuff like that.
What accounts for this phenomenal growth that you've had over all of these years? What do you say?
I find that when you're nice to people be nice back with you. It's not so much your style of preaching, even though that plays a part, but it's being nice to people. It's just be nice to people. There's not a person who have walked out of our church, because would have some leave, who do not come back and say, I want you to sign my Christian certificate or sign my affidavit.
Or
they
bury my loved one.
Oh, but yeah. so we're still friends. And I find out that you will find one or two that you offended and they wouldn't forgive you. But once I know I've offended you, I'll ask you to forgive me. And I hope they would ask me to forgive them if they offend me. But I think that's how I like to live. Just love people.
He's a good man,
people.
Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
He's a good man.
Like when I go to your church, I know so many of them from the apostle right on down. And so I walk in Annex, and I'm like, I'm at home. Because I know everybody, and they know me. And that's not only with Baptists. When I went to the Catholic Church, same thing. Anglican Church, same thing. So it's loving people. And the bishops, they're kind to me, very kind to me.
Yes.
And
Let's take a break here on our program. We're going to spend some time with Bishop Ross Davis and his wife. They have two separate anniversaries. One is a wedding anniversary, 51 years, and the other is Bishop Davis's pastoral anniversary, 45 years at the Golden Gates Assembly World Outreach Ministry. We take this break here and we'll come right back.